you get a dad to live?
I don't know. Good question. Why do you have to die to live? Because, see, this is, I think, where the idea of original sin may have come from, observing people. We do tend to get messed up really, really quickly. And I think, I remember sitting on my sofa, a couple of my kids were, they're all teenagers at the point, saying, they're just as bad as I am. How did that happen? You know, so I downloaded this stuff. I don't think it's because by virtue of their being born. I think it's by virtue of them being socialized in our family, right? And every family has the same problem, same principal problem. So, you know, we're all, I mean, maybe a word that's less dramatic is we're all dysfunctional and we all need healing, right? So the way to heal is, use the biblical language, is to die to yourself so you can be born again or born from above or moving further along the path. There are many metaphors, one of which I don't like to use because it would be easily misunderstood, but I don't mind a word like enlightenment. I think I'm more enlightened today than I was when I was 20, at least I hope so. But that's not like an arrogant, I'm on a mountaintop looking down on everybody else. I think I see things with a clearer light than I did. Even if I can't articulate it, I think I see them in a clearer light, right? That doesn't happen without some metaphorical death happening too. There's no light of the resurrection apart from the darkness of the death. And that's not just a metaphor for like how you become a Christian, you die to yourself and you accept Jesus and everything's fine. That's I think, as others have said, you know, Richard Rohr is one of them, that's a metaphor for our existence in this path of faith. We're constantly dying and moving to a new life. I don't mind saying, in fact, I'm very happy to say, I think what the gospel fundamentally does is it fully humanizes us.
What do you mean?
I think it's about, you know, Christians talk often about, you know, Jesus is God, which is really, frankly, a heresy. I think it's Jesus is divine human, and you can't let either of those go. What that means, we can talk about that, but the principle that's there. And I think Jesus, if you only say like Jesus is God, you're going to miss a lot. Jesus is human. What kind of a human was he? You could say Jesus is the most fully human person who ever lived. And what we are to be restored to is our full humanity and not forsaking, for all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, Paul says in Romans. You know, meaning all people, not just a few people, but just it is our lot where we have fallen short of something, which is the Adamic status of being this royal, priestly, communing with God intimately in a garden, taking walks with God in the garden, metaphorically. There's something that has to be restored there, right? And that's what some people mean by a fall. And I'm very comfortable with using the language of fall to describe that. But I think we go too far to say things like, you know, the story of Adam and Eve teaches us that we're all born into a state of sinfulness. I don't think you actually find that in the Bible. Sort of Paul, maybe kind of in the book of Romans, but it's not, in my opinion, remotely clear. It's not something to base a whole way of thinking about God on. Or in Babylon, or in Israel, or in the North Pole. I mean, I think every social structure has its problems. And I think that's why you have in the Bible books like Revelation, which says you never align with power. Even the Roman Empire, which frankly probably wasn't a bad place to live. They had a sewage system. It might not have been the most sophisticated, but they had it. They were powerful. They protected you from enemies. All you had to do is be a good citizen. go to church, right, and do those kinds of things. But Paul and the book of Revelation say that is not where your hope is. So, being a Christian in America, it's just the same thing. It's how we're going to respond to empire. Well, like Paul was a citizen, right? I'm a citizen, but as citizens, we still have obligations to the kingdom.
So how do we, your suggestions for becoming a Christian in America today?
Being Christian or
As in,
growth? Yeah.
becoming Christian. When you said, like speaking out the power. Also
Well, I think keeping it simple. Keeping it simple, which is love the Lord your God with our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and your neighbor as yourself. And that thing that people make fun of, but try to think, what would Jesus do in a situation like that? I think those are very simple ways. That doesn't give you the answer, but it gives you the posture out of which you're trying to live, which I think that leads to growth. And especially if you're not doing it alone. You're with other people who have the same motivations.
And you avoid the question, who wins?
God wins, and as a result, we win.
Us, not them.
Well, I hope the us is everybody, but I don't know that.
When do we find out?
See, I don't know. Not right now.
So then,
At the end, is there an end? What does that mean? Where does biblical metaphor begin and end? Is the book of Revelation like talking about the end of the cosmos or something? I don't think it is. I think it's highly symbolic there too, but...
when do you get in?
Huh?
When do you get in, I guess?
Well, we are in. See, that's just the point. The kingdom has begun. We are in the kingdom. Now act like it. Now act like it. Yeah, but don't you see all this stuff that's happening? It doesn't matter. So that's the book of Revelation. You're in the kingdom now. The slain Lamb of God is on the throne. Not waiting to be put on the throne, is on the throne. Act like a citizen of that. You are in.